Hey, I'm Heyzeus, and in this video, I'm going to be explaining how peer-to-peer skins marketplaces work. Now, this video is sponsored. It's sponsored by Float.db. You may recognize that site from my videos. It's got an extremely useful skins database, but it's also a place where you can buy and sell skins. And not just for the memes either. So they've asked me to make a guide on how peer-to-peer skins marketplaces work. So we're going to explain that, and we're going to have a look at some of the features of their site at the end of the video. So traditionally, CSGO skins markets have all followed the same model. Basically, the site has a bunch of bots, you deposit your skins on the bots, and then someone who has deposited money on the site buys your item and the money goes to you. The site is acting as an escrow for both the money and the skins, and for most of CSGO's history, this is how skins have been sold. This is the model OP Skins pioneered. This is the model that most sites still use today. And it was perfect, right up until the point that Valve introduced the 7-day trade hold. And thanks to that trade hold, any item deposited on a bot would be stuck there for 7 days until the trade hold expires, which one way or another is gonna inconvenience someone. Wanna buy an item that's just been deposited? Get wrecked. 7-day waiting period for you. Changed your mind about selling it and want the item back? Get wrecked again. You'll be waiting 7 days before you can get it off the bot. And this has led to an alternative type of market being developed which tries to get around these problems, the peer-to-peer market. Now, this system gets rid of bots. Instead, all the trades happen between the users. The marketplace verifies the trades and provides an escrow for the money. So, for example, if I wanted to buy Edgelord's AWP Azimuth through a peer-to-peer marketplace, I would go onto the website or the app used by the marketplace, select the item, and then Edgelord gets a notification that I want to buy. The marketplace holds my money in escrow until Edgelord sends me the trade offer with the item, and once the marketplace has verified that he sent me the skin, it then deposits the money in his account. And this has a bunch of advantages over the normal model. First of all, it means you don't have to worry about trade holds because you never send the items to a bot. That whole part of the process is cut out entirely. It also allows you to hold onto the item while it's listed. This makes it harder for scammers to trick you into depositing on the wrong site. Just think of all the scammers pretending to be CS Money bots, for example. And for anyone with extremely rare, valuable items, this provides extra peace of mind when selling, since the item is in your inventory until the moment you sell it. Oh, and as a bonus, you can list your item on multiple peer-to-peer marketplaces at once, which naturally increases your chances of finding a buyer. Now, there are some downsides too, so you have to wait for the seller to manually send you an item, which can be a bit of a hassle. Sometimes it can take a little while, although if they are taking too long, you can just cancel the purchase. It can also be inconvenient if you're selling extremely high quantities of very cheap stuff, since you've got to manually send it all, but those problems notwithstanding, it's a viable alternative to the traditional model, which has some real benefits too. Now, there's two types of peer-to-peer site. They both function the same way, they both do the same thing, but one requires you to give up your API key and the other doesn't. Now, giving up your API key isn't a big deal as long as you're dealing with a reputable site. However, there are scams that involve getting your API key, so be careful who you give it out to. Now, the reason these sites want your API key in the first place is to track your trades. Obviously, the site needs to be able to do that in order to work. However, there are ways of tracking this stuff that doesn't require you to give up your API key as well. And CSGO Float's marketplace uses these methods. So functionally, it'll work the same as a site that uses API tracking, but it just uses different methods. Now, the process of buying on the site works like this. Basically, the buyer buys an item on the site, their money is moved into escrow, and then the seller gets the notification that the item has been sold via SMS, email, or browser. They send the item to the buyer via trade offer, and once that trade is accepted, the money is moved out of escrow and given to the seller. Now, the buyer has the right to cancel a transaction if the item hasn't been sent after 30 minutes. Obviously, you can wait longer than that, but you get the right to cancel after 30 minutes. Now, this also works the other way, so if a buyer takes too long to accept the trade offer, the seller gets a notification to cancel it, at which point the whole trade is cancelled and the funds are refunded to the buyer. The system's set up so you can't scam people by being malicious. Making your inventory private and then immediately listing stuff on the Steam market doesn't work. You won't be able to scam people, although if you try hard enough, you might get yourself banned instead. Now, the site also has a bunch of other cool features. One of them is bargaining. So bargaining allows you to make offers which a seller can either accept, counter offer, or decline. The seller sets the minimum offer price for the listing, which then sets a limit on how much lower a buyer can offer. But this is a great feature if you're trying to trade for really expensive or unusual skins. It makes it a lot more like actual trading, but with the infrastructure of a proper marketplace. Now, the fees are also extremely low, so there's less overhead this site needs to fund. So the fees start at 4.5% and go all the way down to 2.5% if you have a high enough sales volume. And you also get a discount if you're a premium user too. I have that, by the way. I use it for the extra features on the database. And finally, it's also got an advanced buy order feature that allows you to set buy orders for specific floats, skins with specific stickers, things like that. So I'll leave links with more detail for all of this stuff in the pinned comment, but either way, it is a pretty cool site. I love it already for the database, but it's got a marketplace that I'd really recommend you try out as well. And with that, I'm going to wrap up the video. So as always, trust the numbers, not your guts. I'm Heyzeus. Thanks for watching. See ya.